Hello guys, my name is Peter. Welcome back to another pretty much unscripted episode of Tech Suvara. Today we're going to talk about how you can be the best software engineer, programmer, coder, or generally human being that you can be with a few simple rules. Rule number one is look after your health. Now, they say that pretty much 70% of your health is what you eat and about 30% is exercise. Maybe that's true, maybe that's not. But the main thing here is to look after your health. Without it, you don't have anything. It doesn't matter what you do with the rest of your life. If you don't have your health, the rest is pretty difficult to put together. So it's really, an idea behind getting onto a good diet. So by diet, that pretty much means anything you eat. So getting onto food that really is made for human consumption, not like 90% of the stuff you can buy in packets these days at your shopping mall. Look, I'm not a dietitian or an expert on food, but I can tell you that if you think about it and you decide to work on your health, start with what you eat. The next part is exercise. If you do a little bit of exercise, even go for a walk, not only does it help you clear your mind, it will help you get physically fit. It'll help the rest of your body be active, alert, and pretty much set you up for, a clear-headed approach to solving problems, which is what software engineering is about. So if you have a clear mind, you can approach any kind of problem with a better outlook and a likely quicker response. So from my personal experience, I can say that anytime I haven't looked after my health, either by not exercising at all or ingesting and drinking things and like soda, packed food, pre-packaged food, pizza, all that kind of stuff. It adds up over time. It doesn't happen straight away, but the results should speak for themselves when you do that for a long period of time. And the opposite is also true. When you eat healthy and you do exercise, you're not going to see the results straight away, but you will see them eventually over time. So look after your health. It's the one thing that you need to look out for. It's the one thing that if you completely break, it's going to be difficult to get back. So on to rule number two. Rule number two is your relationships. Relationships are really important to setting you up and putting you in a position of comfort, to putting you in a position of confidence, whether that's friends, family, work colleagues. Spend time with them, interact with them. Don't take anything too seriously. You'll live and learn over time the more people you interact with who is good for you and who's not, by the way you feel and by how you react. Try to stick with people that you're pretty much calm around, that you're pretty happy around, and that you have good relationships with in the long term. Family is difficult because sometimes you may not have the best relationships with your family, but they are your family. I'm not a psychologist, I'm not an expert on relationships, but I know that if you consciously put in some effort to try and empathize with other people, the relationships will do better. So there are a number of things you can do to help your relationships along. One is listen more than you speak and try to put yourself in the position of the other person. Sometimes you can, sometimes you cannot. Sometimes you can accept things other people do, sometimes you can't. So it's important that you respect yourself and you respect the other person and try to be the best person you can be when dealing with other people with an element of empathy and understanding, but also self-respect. So that's relationships. Rule number three is focus and time management. I can't tell you from my personal experience how easy it is to lose an entire day by simple distractions. And I mean by notifications and not having an idea of what you need to do for the day. Focus and time management are fundamental to getting good work done. If you can sit down and you've got a clear idea of what you need to do, what you want to do, then you're going to be able to achieve it. If you don't have a plan for a day and you keep getting distracted, you'll get to the end of the day and you haven't set yourself anything to achieve and you won't feel like you've achieved anything because you don't really have a thing that you can tick off. I know it's funny that, ticking things off doesn't really mean anything, but it does in the sense that you feel like you've made progress. If you're constantly every day just sitting there being distracted and you've got a project, you're in trouble. And you're not going to be able to first track what you're doing and where you're at. And second, you're not going to feel like you're making progress, and that will have an impact on your confidence. So there are a lot of things you can do to help yourself time manage. One is, plan your week and try to plan your days as the first thing that you do. That's what I do. And Sunday, I spend about 30 minutes just planning for what I want for the week. At the end of the month, I do that for the month. Now every day I get up in the morning and I do a bit of exercise or go for a walk, and I set up a daily set of goals that I want to do, and I tick them off. Really, really simple. I know it takes time to adapt to that. It doesn't happen straight away again, but if you put in that 10-20 minutes every day to set yourself up for the things you want to achieve that day, at least you know where you're going. And if you've got this process in place, you're going to be able to not only plan out months, you're going to be able to plan out years, and you can guide yourself like the captain of your own ship if you know what it is that you're doing at a particular time. And you can remove distractions by saying no to things that aren't necessarily on your plan of where you want to go. So there you go, time management and focus. It's really important, and it'll definitely help you in becoming a better software engineer and getting work done for the clients that you're working with and for the team members around you. Another thing that can help focus is mindfulness meditation, just taking time to focus on your breath and practicing concentration. Okay guys, let's wrap that up and move on to the next point. The next one is more of a philosophical idea. It's humility, and it was difficult to choose the name for this particular rule, and I chose humility because it is the essence of what it needs to happen when you fail, and you will fail a lot, and it doesn't matter how experienced you are, you will be faced with failure and you'll be faced with obstacles. And with humility and a kind of acceptance of that process, your pride is not going to get in the way, and you will find that it will be easier to learn new things, learn from other people, even if they might not be as experienced as you. They might come up with an idea. You want to accept that idea, and you want to have a look at it, and you want to try and understand it with a sense of humility. And also, if somebody comments on your code and you committed something, humility helps you not be too proud to say, well, yeah, that's actually a better solution. That is going to work, you know? Maybe my code isn't the best. And the idea is that a collaborative approach, especially with the idea of agile development. It doesn't matter how experienced you are or not experienced you are. The team contributes to make the result of what you're building better. Right? So you might come up with an idea, and you might come up with something great. Someone might have input, and you realize, well, you know, that wasn't the best idea. And so you can, with humility, accept that new idea. It also helps you recover from serious failures. So you may really disappoint people in your life by doing certain things, and that you realize, well, you know, I'm sorry. And it's difficult to say I'm sorry, but you'll have to say it if you really want to progress in your career, because without accepting that failure and learning from it, you're not going to grow. Many of the best people around that are in great positions have failed. A really well-known one is obviously Steve Jobs and his situation that happened in the 1980s. So that's something that is a clear example, but all of us go through this. It's easy to say, oh, well, you know, the big people do it, but if you realize that this will happen and you accept it and you learn from it and you move on and you continue to try and learn in face of the fact that you will probably fail again in different ways and different things, you're not going to be able to please everyone. So that's it for humility and accepting failure and growing. So let's move on to the last item. The last item is the fun stuff, right? So let's call it the hunger for knowledge, the curiosity. It is what it takes to keep ahead of technology. And by that I mean is that you know that there's going to be something new and something cool, and it's an endless process of learning. You're always going to learn. It doesn't matter, again, how experienced you are and how many years you've been in the industry. You'll take in this new information, be curious about it. Don't discount it. Some of it's going to be good, some of it's not. But if you don't even try it, especially with all this new ChatGPT, AI coding, utilize these tools to help you by being curious about them, by being curious about what's around you, just like you were when you first started developing. And if you are starting to develop, don't worry, there will be, you might feel like it's overwhelming, but just focus on something and let that grow. Understand one part of it, move on to the next that interests you, but always be curious and don't be afraid of that curiosity. It's going to take you places. So that's it, guys. Thanks for listening to these 5 rules on how to be a better software engineer, programmer, and general human being. I hope you got something out of this video. If you did, subscribe. There's going to be a lot more content, a lot more cool stuff coming up. And see you at the next video where we talk about what can possibly go wrong if you get the requirements incorrect. I'll see you at the next video. Bye.